Star Fox has seen many outings on many different consoles, usually always with his trusty team behind him. Fox McCloud has become one of the company's most recognizable stars, featuring in every Super Smash Bros. Game, with his wingman Falco joining him for most of them. But the core of the Star Fox brand is on the on-rail shooter, which balanced white-knuckle fighter pilot action with acrobatic stunts and hidden secrets. Still though, there have been many games that deviate from the norm, and for better, which brings us to here, as we'll be going through the top 10 best Star Fox games to have ever been released. But of course, just before we do go into this video, if you do like this type of content, and you would like to see some more top 10 videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and of course, like this video. And with all that said, let's just get straight into it. These are the top 10 best Star Fox games to have ever been released. Number 10. Star Fox Command. Star Fox Command is a great game that heavily broke from its traditional rail shooter roots, but this time the experiment largely worked. Instead of the usual Star Fox storage design, you were in a command of the team's aircraft carrier, the Great Fox, along with the team's R-Wings. Using a tactical map, you had to plan routes to keep Great Fox safe as it journeyed through the stages, and then hop into an all-round battle mode and shoot down enemies yourself. The bite-sized levels included within the game were a great way to quickly hop in, and the stylus controls worked surprisingly well. It also expanded on the world of Star Fox immensely, introducing a ton of new characters and relationships. Number 9. Star Fox Zero. Star Fox Zero had all the pieces in place, such as the graphics of the Wii U and a decent enough flying mechanic, but it invited unfavorable comparisons by modeling itself after the fan favorite Star Fox 64. Parts of it seemed to be a total re-imaging of Star Fox 64. In fact, Star Fox Zero was a pale imitator, recalling some great moments but overlooked with the awkward controls and an over-reliance on the Wii U gamepad that often saw players looking down at your controllers rather than looking at the TV screen. That said, the story mode compromises of missions where players must complete certain tasks, powering up their crafts in order to destroy everything in sight. And if you have a friend that you can trust, you can split the controls of your craft with them and complete the level in some kind of co-op mode. Number 8. Star Fox Guard. Star Fox Guard is a radical departure from the standard Star Fox game, and it wasn't what all Star Fox fans would have hoped to have seen out of the new game when it launched for the Wii U in 2016. Instead of the dogfighting action that has defined the series since its inception, or even the tanks and subs, and the on-foot segments that became a regular part of the later entries, Star Fox Guard is a tower defense game. It made use of the Wii U gamepad and two-screen experience, having you swap between an array of cameras to fire at approaching enemies. It got praised for its clever enemies like the Chaos robots, which would interfere with cameras or even show you fake footage to throw you off. But it was also criticized for being a bit too bland and short, and for the lack of online sharing for the level editor. Number 7. Starlink Battle for Atlas. In this game, players can actually build their own starship in real time outside of the game to affect the craft in the game. The graphics are also noted for being super good, and while it might not be at the top of the best Star Fox games list, it's certainly one of the best looking. Players can go wild with parts, guns, wings, pilots, and a ton of other customizable features. Make the ultimate war machine in real time and see it come to life on the screen. Be warned though, every move you make in this game has a direct effect on how the rest of the game plays out. Annoy the wrong people, and you might end up regretting it for the entire game. Number 6. Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2, the direct sequel of the original groundbreaking SNES game, was cancelled in 1995 as Nintendo were preparing for the release of the 3D games on the N64. It lived only as a rumor and a prototype ROM that made their way out of among fans and gaming history buffs. However, that changed in 2017 when Nintendo restored the game and released it officially for the first time as part of its Super SNES Classic Edition, one of the several mini consoles released around that time that contains a library of classic games. A few years later, it also came to the Nintendo Switch Online service. While the official release satisfied the curiosity of longtime Nintendo fans, the actual game itself just isn't all that great. The rudimentary graphics and simple controls aren't enough to keep up with its ambitious ideas, and the game's over almost as soon as it begins. This one is more of a curiosity than a game that ever did, or could stand on its own. Number 5. Star Fox Assault. This release for the GameCube serves as a direct sequel to Star Fox Adventures. Andross's nephew Andrew takes center stage as a new villain, and Fox and his crew of mercenaries have to battle against the invasion of Aparoid's creatures. The major new elements were the on-ground blaster combat and the ability to swap between your R-Wing and Landmaster at will, as the stages were built to support both vehicles. While this was a very serviceable sequel, many critics felt that this game was too similar to its prior entries, and the design was a little bit too simplistic. Number 4. Star Fox 64 3D. If you've played the original game on the N64, then you'll recognize all the levels, power-ups, and characters. The main new features are a slick scoring mode, where you can try and beat your score on a level, and a camera function that allows you to see your mates, so that when playing multiplayer, you can see their annoyed faces when you blast them out of the sky. Apart from that, it's one of the best N64 games to have been released, just turned 3D. Number 3. Star Fox. The original Star Fox hasn't aged as gracefully as some of the others. Even at the time, it was clear that the Super SNES was struggling to halt the load. But for many games of that era, it was the first mainstream game to center around polygons and a truly 3D space. It had difficulty spikes, as sharp as razor-like R-wing pieces, but it was an incredible technical achievement and a vision of the future. For setting the template of Star Fox and giving us a vision into the future, it definitely deserves its place of honor. Number 2. Star Fox Adventures. This game is as diverse as it gets within the series. In the days of 3D action platformer, Nintendo and Rare went in totally different directions. Inspired by the success of the Legend of Zelda series, Fox and his crew abandoned the R-Wings for an adventure mode present as a third-person action-adventure game. Fox had his staff that he could use to dispatch enemies and solve puzzles, as well as a build-up full skill suit. The R-Wings were present but extremely de-emphasized, consisting of a handful of on-rail shooter segments as you travel from place to place. Not only was the gameplay a huge departure from the norm, but the storyline was as well. Rather than a planet-hopping excursion across several biomes to battle evil space overlords, this one placed Fox and his band of mercenaries on a single planet, the aptly named Dinosaur Planet, and a new ally named Crystal. All these changes were a lot for longtime Star Fox fans, leading it to its divided reception. But among critics, it was one of the most highly rated within the series. As long as you can take it on its own terms, it's a great game and an example of how Star Fox could stand to break from tradition more often. Number 1. Star Fox 64. Nintendo set the standard for Star Fox in its very second release video game, and it's been chasing it in almost every release since. Star Fox 64 was everything that the series aimed to be. The rail shooter segments consisted of branching paths that injected the game with multiple ways of approaching its difficulty, as well as tons of secrets and hidden paths to unlock. The gibberish speak of the first game was replaced with voice acting that you could have expected to find at home on any Saturday morning cartoon. It expanded the roster of characters beyond the core 4 pilots to include several allies in the fight against Andros, along with Rob and your carrier ship, the Great Fox. The graphics were considered top-notch for its time on the N64, and they were even given a little bit of a polish for its 3D release years later. This is also the best example to date of Star Fox venturing outside of its usual comfort zone of airborne dogfights, as it introduced both the Landmaster tank and the Blue Marine levels that had clear similarities to the R-Wing, but felt special as a nice change of pace. And so there you pretty much have it. Those were our top 10 best Star Fox games to have ever been released. So what did you think of this list? Do you agree with our top 10? Or perhaps that you feel that there was a game not on this list that should have been included? If so, do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. And of course, not forgetting that if you do like this type of content and you would like to see some more top 10 videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. I'll also leave some more top 10s at the end of this video if you would like to check them out. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I will see you all next time.